Well, yeah, I know this is a little late. I was planning on doing a fully updated guide with new tips for getting into PvP, thinking there would be a bunch of new Garo stuff, but there wasn't. So there really isn't much point in that now. On the bright side, the updates to PvP have renewed interest in it, and PvP is more popular than ever. So the basics of the event are, you buy Garo gear from the disreputable priest using wolf marks, the main PvP currency. All the gear is level 60, get a full set for any job you like that is level 60 or higher. For any job since Stormblood, no Garo weapon is required, since there isn't any for those jobs. Once the set is equipped, select Receive a New Title from the priest, and she should give you a title. With any Garo title activated, go and PvP your brains out until you win enough matches to get one of the mounts. For more details, see my original guide, but feel free to ask any questions you have in the comments. So Red Mage, Samurai, Dancer, and Sage just use the old gear they were added to. If you completed the previous version of this event, you just need to pick up that gear from the Calamity Salvager, and you can just present yourself to the priest, since none of those jobs have Garo weapons. You find the gear for Reaper and Gunbreaker under the Melee 2 section with the disreputable priest. The Reaper set is exactly the same as the Monk Samurai set, while the Gunbreaker set is exactly the same as the ranged set used by Bard, Machinist, and now Dancer, but you do need to buy the specific gear if you want the achievement and the title. Again, there is no weapon for these jobs. When you present yourself to the priest, you must be wearing the actual gear. Glamours will not work. Headgear for all the robed sets will appear on Viera and Hrothgar. The helmets for the armored sets will not appear on Viera, but will on Hrothgar. Since belts have been removed from the game, the belts for the Garo sets are no longer available for purchase. The Gold Saucer Attendant also has a new section for the Reaper and Gunbreaker gear. Note that this gear cannot be dyed and cannot be used to acquire titles. The Calamity Salvagers also have a new section for Garo gear, but they organize it differently than both event vendors. Something I noticed recently is you can hire a Journeyman Salvager for your apartment or house by purchasing a permit from the vendor in the lobby. This person has access to everything the Calamity Salvager does, as well as many of the items the Recompense Officer has. The Protector achievement now requires any 13 titles to give you the Makai Master title. There is no achievement for obtaining all 19. You should not need to visit Jonathas to claim your mounts anymore. All achievement rewards can now be taken from the achievements window. Note that every PvP action was changed in 6.1. If you have not done PvP in a while, be sure to go to the Wolves' Den Pier to set up your action bars for any job you intend to PvP on, and be sure to practice a bit on the dummies there. The feast is gone and has been replaced with Crystalline Conflict. There is a new quest at the Wolves' Den to unlock this new mode. Notice there are people around the pier now to tell you about all the PvP modes. Trial players currently cannot participate in PvP. If you watch my event guides, you probably get that I am more interested in the story and activities surrounding an event than the rewards. However, with an event like Garo, the rewards are all there is. There is no lore, there is no unique playable content. The event is about the gear you can buy and the mounts you can earn, and I guess the titles and achievements, but the event is about the rewards. So when it was announced Garo would be returning, it was said there would be new gear sets for Shadowbringers and Endwalker jobs. That was misleading. They just copied existing sets as new items that can be equipped by some of the new jobs. 2 of them. They weren't even recolors. I've seen people actually try and defend this, but no, that is complete bullshit. That is like if they said, hey, there's going to be a new dungeon in the next patch, and they give it a different name and all, but it turns out to be Zastasha. I'm sure they're busy. It takes time to create new armor sets. That's the thing though, they didn't have to add anything to this event. A lot of people just wanted a chance to get the rewards again, so they were asking just for it to come back as it was. Sure, people would complain there was nothing new, but doing nothing leaves more options open for the future. That is exactly what happened when the Yokai Watch event was brought back during Stormblood with no additions for the added jobs. Sure, there were complaints, but when it returned for the 3rd time, it was worth it, with brand new minions, weapons, and a mount. The 5 minutes they spent to update this was wasted, and it makes things harder if they want to do more. I understand some people are glad to have sets for Reaper and Gunbreaker, but they could have just added those jobs to the existing sets. Creating new items just exacerbates the duplicate item problem. Basically, if you want to have Garo gear for both Bard and Gunbreaker available for glamoring, you need to have multiple visually identical items in your glamour dresser. You're taking up 5 extra slots to have the same thing. There are now 6 versions of these exact same shorts, and if you have all of them taking up 6 slots in your glamour dresser, there are still 5 combat jobs that can't use them, not to mention crafters and gatherers. They are very basic shorts, and there is no reason any class shouldn't be able to wear them. They are just shorts. Honestly, none of the gear looks like it is particularly designed for any specific job or role. What specific healer does this belong to? None of them. It could be anything. It could be a caster or a bard even. But in a game where a tank can be glamored like this, or a caster like this, why are these locked to specific jobs or roles? There are a few things that really need to happen. First of all, remove the job locks. There is no reason for any of the Garo sets to be locked to particular jobs or roles. This is glamour gear that just happens to have stats. If you are buying this gear for stats, you're doing it wrong. They have no effect in PvP, and if you need level 60 gear with stats, get your butt over to Idleshire and buy Shire gear from Hismina. Hismina? I don't know. Just remove all job limits from the armor. Item numbers are probably used for the inspection, and if not, why not? If they insist they can't do this, then they can just have job-neutral versions unlocked at the Calamity Salvager after purchase. Additionally, make all the items storable in the armoire. All other event armor can be stored in the armoire. Why not these? Well, the Monster Hunter gear can't be, but I don't really consider that an event. It's permanent. But that gear should be as well. People claim it's too many items, but the devs are constantly adding new items to the armoire. They recently converted everything in the online store. That's probably hundreds of more items that are now storable in the armoire. Besides, as I've pointed out before, many of the items are redundant, and out of the 105 items, there are really only 62 unique items, including the weapons and accessories and the invisible shield. Some things that would be nice. It would be nice if there were a lead-in quest to get people started, maybe even a little story. I think I understand why they may be shying away from story content though. Garo is very much adult-oriented, and there may be problems with directly referencing it in a game designed to be played by teenagers. There has been a trend in converting gender-locked items to genderless. However, they have not done that with the Garo gear yet. They did do it with Monster Hunter. Sometimes men want to wear shorts. Sometimes women want to wear pants. As it is, there are only 8 unique sets any one character has access to, and that is being generous as many sets share parts, like pants, gloves, boots, and headpieces. If they convert the gender lock sets to genderless, that goes up to 12 unique sets, well, at least body armors. Looking over the Garo wiki, there are dozens, if not hundreds of characters across various media that could be used as a basis for armor sets. I know next to nothing about who these people are, if they're good guys or bad guys or anti-heroes, I don't know, but that shouldn't limit what they can use. It would be nice if they kept their word and made new gear sets for the newer jobs, but it would be bad if they just replaced them because players already have the reused armor sets for those jobs. It would be problematic to take those away, and this supports removing the job limits. They could make a unique set for Reaper, and Reapers could still use the monk set. With so many swords and sword users in the franchise, why is there not a unique samurai set, or even a weapon? But there is plenty of source material to create sets for every job, and removing job locks would allow players to continue using what they already have. But at the very least, they should have a weapon for each job. And of course, these really do need to be unique to each job. Just like armor, there are plenty of weapons in the Garo content. I still don't know where some of the Garo weapons we have come from. I have found a couple different bows, but none look like the one bards get. There are so many different Mado brushes. They could be the basis for several weapons, like maybe a sage weapon, or for the upcoming Pictomancer. Some items, such as a lot of the jewelry and little knickknacks they have, could be used as decorations on new weapon designs. For example, they could be the basis for the floating part of the red mage weapon. There are other guns that could become gun blades. There is really no excuse besides just not trying. But if they do add so much stuff, it would be good to improve the shop interface, maybe a separate section for each job so you can see at a glance which parts you have and which you need. They could have added more achievements that reward more mounts, like one for getting all the armor sets, and one for completing the armor sets and the PvP achievements. There are at least 2 other Madogo horse mounts in Garo, but there are many other things that could become mounts. Maybe this weird creature, I don't know. Okay, time to calm down now. Really, the thing that bothered me is announcing new sets and not delivering that. I don't know what kind of agreement Yoshi P has with the creators of Garo. Maybe there is no incentive to put production money into this? Fine. Then just remove the job locks. Let the gear be put in the armoire and leave it active permanently so players can continue to get these items. So anyway, maybe I should address the hot pink elephant in the room. You may have noticed I did not make a guide for the recent Fall Guys event. Well, honestly, I just wasn't that interested, and it seemed like it was going to be a permanent crossover like the Monster Hunter one. So I wasn't in any real hurry. When I saw that it was actually limited time and that it would come back from time to time, I gave it a try. I was surprised, unlike Garo, it actually had a bit of a framing story, but my first impression of the gameplay was, well, dread and horror. I found that if I wanted things, I could just fail my way through it and get enough currency from consolation prizes. I eventually got all the collectible items, and by the end it kinda grew on me, and I realized there was some fun to be had, but it still feels very disconnected from the rest of the world. I may do a guide on it when it returns, but no promises. I should also mention that I am taking a break from doing guides for each holiday event. The 2 main reasons I was doing those was to point out things people miss or might not understand, and to riff on the story and characters. The holiday events seem to be getting less involved, and if I don't come up with something interesting or funny to say before the event is over, the guide kind of misses the mark. They don't really get many views for the amount of work they require. Anyway, thank you for listening to my rant. Please like the video and comment if you have something to say. And don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.